الحمد لله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض وجعل الظلمات والنور ثم الذين كفروا بربهم يعدلون. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. لقد جاءت رسل ربنا بالحق. So, last class we went over we began gender with regards to nouns. And we talked about feminine gender with regards to noun. Could you remind us of the top about some of what we typically taken concerning that?
Okay, we took al-mu'annathu haqiqi, and it's kulu ma talidu aw tahidu
تبيض
tab ta- tabi
تبيض.
tabidu
Mhm,
aw oh, I have
mhm,
aw tahidu aw
mhm.
tabidu.
Oh, Tahiba. Okay, yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, Tahiba, Tabiba. So yeah, we're talking about a real feminine noun. So when the word feminine is used and it's real, then it has to be something that gives birth, lays eggs, or gets a menstrual cycle. And anything that has the ability to do it, but for due to some sickness or other than that, can no longer do it. So that still would make that a real feminine. You know, that the uscle in this thing is that it either gives birth or lays eggs or has a menses or had or is supposed to have that ability, but due to some type of deficiency is unable to do that. So that's real. So that includes those things which have intellect and those things that don't have intellect, meaning animals. So batta for duck, a female duck is a real and true female. And then we have mar'a, which means woman, which is a real female, and so forth and so on. Those things are real feminine. So after that, what do we say?
Al-mu'annath mu'annathu majazi.
Figurative feminine. المؤنثة المجاز is figurative. So something that is figuratively female. Mhm.
Uh, and then we took
No, what is the definition of it?
kulu ma yu'a, and I missed that. Is it baru?
يعبر.
Yu'adbar
Mhm.
anhu bima bima'na
Mhm.
mu'annathin
Mhm.
lakinnah lakinnahu
Mhm.
la talidu ولا تبيض
تبيد.
تبيد.
Mhm. So كل ما يعبر عنه بالمؤنث بمعنى مؤنث ولكنه لا تلد ولا تبيض. So everything that is used or expressed in the form of being feminine, however, it does not give birth and it does not um, lay eggs. An example of that would be the sun. The sun is spoken about in feminine form as shams. تجري مستقرا لها. The sun runs in an orbit for it, and it was spoken about in the feminine form al-ard. Now, madadanaha, her. The earth, we stretched it out, but used in feminine form. So it's spoken about as in feminine form. This is figuratively feminine, and it is not literally feminine. Now, next.
المؤنث لفظي
Now.
كل كلمات ختمات ختمات
Mhm.
And there's three of them.
ختمت أي نعم. So every word المؤنثة
ختم.
اللفظي, every word that ends with a feminine sound, and it doesn't have to be feminine, but the sound is feminine. ختمت ب number one التاء أو تاء المربوطة. Every word that ends with تاء مربوطة, this is called مؤنث لفظي. So the sound of it is feminine, even if it's a male name like Usama. Fatima, female name. There's both of them are mu'annath lafzi. It's in itself feminine, even though one of them is not feminine. Nah. And after that, we said what? Alif al mamduda, the extended alif, like in Sahra, Sama. So these are also mu'annath lafzi because of what they end with, the alif mamduda, and there's no harm and more than one type of technique of feminine coming together in one word. For instance, we had al-ma'nawi, the one that al-haqiqi, afwan, that gives birth, like Fatima. So Fatima, without the ta marbuta, it's as feminine in reality because it's a female's name. Then also has ta marbuta, right? And like that. So you have two types of technique came together in one word. Two types of technique came together in one word. Now,
And then the third.
والثالثة الألف المقصورة. نعم ألف المقصورة كالعصا. Right? ك
Salwa.
سلوى. نعم. And like that. So again.
Quswa.
قصوى. Now, so these are words that are feminine in their pronunciation because of the alif al-maqsura. Now, next.
المؤثن مؤنث مثل المؤنث المعني
معنوي.
معنوي. كلمات 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 تدل على مؤنث حقيقي.
نعم, so we have مؤنث المعنوي, and these كل كلمة تدل على مؤنث حقيقي. So every word that points to a real female is in meaning, and it is the same as real. So ma'nawi and haqiqi come together, they're the same. So, like Zainab doesn't have an alif maqsura or alif mamduda or ta marbuta, but it is the name only used for females. Only used for females. So this is ma'nawi. The meaning only can be used for a female. A male cannot have the name Zainab. Likewise, Hafsa. But although it has a term marbuta and Hafsa, and like that. So these names, feminine names that are used for female human beings or even female animals that give birth and lay eggs, then these names that are used for these things are real feminine names like Baqarah and other than that. Now, that was it. Okay. اسم مذكر. أي كل ما يدل على ذي صلب. Like a sort of thought. Well, the solid is the one who is able to produce seminal fluid. كل ما يدل على ذي صلب فهو مذكر حقيقي. Allah Ta'ala said, بين الصلب والترائب. When it points to a noun, and that noun is something that is able to produce seminal fluid. The male, a real male. And this right here points to the reality of male and female. And it points to the principle that we go by the rule, not by the exception. Because you always have the doubt, and they say, well, what about men who have, they can't, and that's the exception. The rule is that a male, healthy male, is able to produce seminal fluid, whether it be in an animal or a human. That's the reality. Some examples. ستنديكن. المجازي كل ما يعبر عنه بمعنى مذكر لكن لا صلب له. Everything that is spoken about or expressed in a masculine form, but it is not able to produce seminal fluid. القمر الدموع الجدار أو جدار wall قلم pen. One of the main benefits of and it's not the only benefit, the benefits are extensive, but one of the main benefits of knowing gender when it comes to nouns, and we'll go into that also when it comes to verbs, is that now you know which pronouns, whether they be attached or detached, to use when these things are being mentioned, whether they be inanimate objects or whether they be animate objects. For instance, all of the indicative pronouns and the attached pronouns, detached pronouns, and like that. So, for instance, if we were going to speak about al-jidar, which indicative pronoun will we use?
Which one? Jidar.
Jidar. Jidar.
Masculine. Mudhakara.
But which one? Use
al mudhakara al.
No, I'm talking about the indicative pronoun. Which one will you? Remember when we took the indicative pronouns? هذا وهذه وتلك وذلك وتلك. So now with al-jidar, which one will you use? هذه or هذا? تلك or ذلك? جدار.
تلك تلك and هذه.
It's for what?
For masculine.
For masculine?
Mm-hmm.
It's the opposite. ذلك is for masculine and tilka is for feminine. هذه is for feminine and هذا is for masculine.
هذا.
Nah. So now when a person is going to use an indicative pronoun for these things, he knows which one to use. هذا رجل وهذه امرأة. ذلك رجل وتلك امرأة. Nah. So we'll say هذا رجل. But we took mu'annath before, and then we use a word from that list of feminine nouns, whether it be haqiqi or majazi. Okay, as far as lafzi, it's easy. It doesn't need to be written on the board. Any word that does not end with alif maqsura or ta marbuta or ta mamduda is considered mudhakkar lafzi. It's considered to have a masculine sound. If it doesn't end with those three that we mentioned to me have a feminine sound to it, then it means the sound is masculine, even if the meaning is feminine. But if the sound is masculine and the meaning is masculine, then that's no doubt about it being masculine form, like asad, like qamar, like jidam. All of them have masculine sound. Why? It doesn't end with the ta marbuta. It doesn't end with the ta alif mamduda. and it doesn't end with an alif maqsura. So that is اتصال المذكر اللفظي, the masculine sound. Masculine sound. Or do I need to write that?
No, no. I understood from you.
تتبين الأشياء بضدها. Things are made clear by the opposites. Now, everything that doesn't end with those three is considered having a masculine sound.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. Real quick.
What happened?
I have a question.
تفضل.
Have you run across any words that can take both that are like considered masculine and feminine? Nothing like they have like things like this unisex, so to speak. Maybe like inanimate objects, maybe.
There are names that can be used for both male and female, like Noor.
Oh, okay,
Now, Noor can be
okay,
used as a male name or a female name.
okay.
Now, if that's what you mean.
Yeah.
No.
Jazakallah khair.
Even some, they argue the point of the name Huda. Some say it's a female name, somebody say it said a male or female can be called Huda. I say no, only a female. But the most usage of it is that. Now. المذكر الحقيقي هو المذكر المعنوي. Right? So that which has a real masculine meaning is حقيقي. حقيقي. Now, that's what we wanted to bring about the nouns. Now we're on verbs.
فعلوا فعلوا. Oh, okay. أفعل.
الأفعال. That's the plural. فعل. كل كلمة تدل على حدث. And a حدث means something happening, taking place, action. كل كلمة تدل على حدث, every word that points to an action is a فعل, a verb.
That points to an action.
Mm-hmm. ضرب يضرب اضرب. ضرب, he hit. يضرب, he's hitting. اضرب, hit.
وأنا أنا واعي.
واعي.
أنا واعي.
That's the ألف.
نعم.
Past tense. So الفعل ثلاث أنواع. ثلاثة أنواع. So the first one. الماضي, past. So it's everything that points to an action in the past. It's past tense verb. مضارع. present or future tense. كل ما يدل على حدث في الحاضر أو المستقبل. Everything that points to an action taking place in the present or future. يضرب سيضرب. will. Future. He will. Command. Maybe with this definition, people will understand what a command is. Because هو كل ما يطلب به هو كل حدث بعد الكلام. Every word that is used to command or request an action to take place after speech. So the action is supposed to take place after the command is given or the request. When it concerns the creation, the one in authority to the one under authority, and women and children need to understand this. When it comes to creation, we talk about fi'l al-amr, it's called al-amr wa talab. It's called the command verb or the requesting verb. So when we have chains of command that Allah Ta'ala legislated in the Quran, number one, first and foremost, Allah Ta'ala is the most high, al-a'la. So you're going to use the command verb when requesting from Allah Ta'ala. It's not just called a command, it's called a request. And that's the case with every one who is under authority asking for something or requesting something from someone who is in authority. That is a request and not a command. And the opposite is not true. When the one is in authority uses the verb, it's called a command verb. When the one who is under authority uses it, it's called a requesting verb. It's a request. Two different things. When we say Allahumma ighfir li, this is called talab. Fi'l talab is the verb of request. We're requesting Allah's forgiveness, not commanding or demanding Allah's forgiveness. But when the mother or father says to their child, Ijlis, sit down, That is not a request, that is a command. And it's commanding that the action take place after speech.
كل ما
يطلب به وقوع حدث بعد الكلام. Everything that is used to request an action to take place after speech. Everything that is used to request an action to take place after speech. That's a command or request.
You said, okay, you wrote it. He said, and he wrote it.
The future tense of a verb is when you add seen or sofa
Seen, okay.
or sofa, and we'll go through that when we talk about the signs that a word is a verb. How do you know that a word is a verb? There are signs to tell. Any questions?
Mhm.
On or offline, any questions? Okay, if not, we'll stop here. هذا وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام. Okay, so,